Thank you so much for finding time on a Friday.
Thank you, Mitu. Always a pleasure to come on to your show and answer questions. I know we had left quite a few calls that were coming in at that time and we couldn't answer them. So if we have callers right now, I can start taking their questions right away.
Perfect. 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. Going to our first caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi, ma'am. I have two questions. One is if some cases are in the process and somehow is denied or something, or something happens, so they send the letter also for if your case is denied already or not, or what happened. And second thing also.
Surely. So just quickly, let me answer that question because I have a question right back for you. What kind of a case are we talking about?
Okay, like my father, he applied for my sister. They live in Pakistan, and he died. And after he died, I heard, if a petitioner is died, so then petition is died also, So how the immigration know, and also if they're going to deny the case, they're going to send any letter or anything because of this case.
See, the immigration is not, and that's why I wanted to ask this question, because the immigration is not going to know this right now, that he's no longer here, and I'm sorry about that. The only way that they're going to find out is when it comes closer to the second step for consular processing, which is an NVC-related paperwork. That's when you need that to be present and signing off on things. And if he's not there at that time, that's when the discovery will happen. And if he passed away abroad, say for example in Pakistan, then obviously the immigration here has no way of knowing that. So
he passed away over here.
Okay.
He passed away over here.
Okay, so even if he did so, they would not automatically know. Now there is an option if mom is a U.S. citizen, she can get substituted, but then there are a lot of conditions that have to be met to get that substitution out for another U.S. citizen parent. But even if they don't know, they will find out later on when the second step comes up, and at that time they will deny it. So there is not like an automatic denial that is sent out by them, but you can understand that once the U.S. citizen parent passes away, then the application is deemed to be abandoned.
Okay, and the second thing is also, which one is better? The fiancé visa is better, or if you go over there and do the nikah and after that come back over here and file the petition or case,
So once in a while, alright, so once in a while the fiancé visa petition also takes about 8-9 months. I'm seeing that after even the green card through the National Visa Center when somebody is located abroad will take about 9 to 10 months. So it's a close call. So the fiancé visa petitions were supposed to be done quickly, but I'm seeing that the government here first of all takes about 5-6 months for it to process, and then you still have to complete the second step at the NVC, and that's where there may be some delays, or in some cases, and we had one of those, administrative processing for some strange reason. So you have to deal with that. But so the timeline for the fiancé visa petition may be a month or two ahead, but then if there is patience just for another month or two, then the person will be coming in here with a green card and doesn't have to come back in here, get married, and then file their green card here also. So it'll save some time and effort.
So we are like, suppose if we do the nikah over there overseas, and when we come back over here with the groom, and we can do the court marriage over here, so is okay, or we have to do both things together over here?
So if you're bringing the person in as a fiancé, then everything, the wedding related, has to be done here within 90 days of the person's entry as a fiancé. And if it is that you're doing it as an I-130, which is the immigrant petition for your spouse, then all the paperwork will happen abroad.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call. And 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. You can get a chance to talk to Pallavi right now if you have a legal question on your mind. All right. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, I got my green card 3 years back, but at that time, in for future employment, I never worked for my sponsored employer. Before filing 485, I worked with them for 3 years, but after filing 485, I didn't work, but they filed for future employment. Does it cause any harm during citizenship, naturalization?
No, this is not the... so you did show your bona fide intent by working for this employer at least for 3 years, correct?
Yeah, but previously I worked for my sponsored employer for 3 years.
Okay, so you had worked for them, and because of that, yes, you can...
I have to interrupt here, Pallavi. There is a little aberration there in your voice. I'm going to try again. If it doesn't work, maybe we'll have to hang up and try again. Let's try one more time.
Now are you able to hear me properly?
We can hear the caller very well, but there is a little problem with Pallavi's line, actually. Let's hear you.
Okay, let me... Can you hear me better now, Meetu?
Not really. What about you? Are you able to hear her well? I'm asking this to the caller.
No,
right?
even I am also getting the same issue.
Okay.
Okay, so let me try and patch in again.
Okay.
Try, so just hold on with the caller and I'll try it again.
Okay, it will be difficult for me to hold on to the caller, but what I'm going to do is drop all the calls and yes, you can listen to your answer on the radio, and let's do it and try getting Pallavi back on air once again. Alright, thank you for your patience. Once again, 972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. We do have Pallavi back on the airwaves. Good morning again, and thank you for calling us back.
Of course, it was my problem, so I had to. So let me just quickly answer the caller's question, and that was that if he had worked with his previous employer only for 3 years, but he had shown a bona fide intention by working for them, and that even though future employment was created, he ended up not working there. This is not the area of review for the N400 currently. With that said, his bona fide intention was clear anyway because he did work for that employer at some point in his career.
All right. Thank you. I hope that answered his question. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. Ahluwalia.com is the website to go and find out about everything that you want to know about the law firm. If you have any questions or if you want to take an appointment, 972-361-0606 is the number to their office. Going to our next caller, Phanisha Radio. You're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, I got my green card 3 years back, and as I said, I never worked with my sponsored employer, but after filing green card, before that I worked with them for 3 years. They have applied for the future employment. Does it cause any issues during naturalization?
Okay, so we spoke a little while back too, right? I just answered your question. I said as long as sometime in the past you had worked for the employer, if there has been such a long gap in the time that they had filed for you and you got your green card and you ended up not working for them, it will not be held against you because you did show bona fide intention. Now, I also have to say that the USCIS has not started to focus on that during the N400 interviews or their review of the N400 petition. It may happen sometime, but it hasn't so far. So that's the only thing I can say. If you had worked for that employer previously, even if you didn't do so after you got your green card, I don't think you should be harmed at this point.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your call. Moving on to our next caller. We have very little time left and I'm trying to take as many calls as we can. 972-235-5555 number in the studio. Looks like everybody called at the same time and they all dropped at the very same time. All right. We have here the next caller on the airwaves of Phanisha Radio 104.9 FM. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Hi, Miss Pallavi. I need to ask you, ma'am, I need to be sponsor my father and for visiting visa. And how can I do it? If I do it here, then what is the procedure, please?
Yeah, so there is not a visiting visa sponsorship within the country. It will be your father's application. These are DS-160 forms that have to be filled out online. You can invite him and you can send him an email if he emails or any way that you communicate with him, and you can tell him to come here. You can also do an affidavit of support for him, but the reason someone is given a visiting visa is, number one, of course, why you're wanting to come here, and that could be to visit you or, for just visitor purposes in the country. The second thing that the consular officers look at is their financial ability in the home country, which means that they have property and money abroad. And the third thing is emotional ties back to the home country, and that means that there are other kids there or family members there. So your father is not going to come here and get to stay back or get illegal here. So that is a criteria with which the consular officers review visitor visa applications. It's less about you; it's more about dad.
I need to file the application in US or in India. He's 86-year-old and.
Yes, so you may be able to help him with the paperwork, and you could file the DS-160 forms. They have to be filed online. They're not nothing that you have to get approved here.
But I need to send my income statement and my W-2 form like that over there in India.
You would have to do that. Yeah, no, everything will happen in India, nothing here.
Okay, all right, ma'am. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for your call, and that's all the time we have today, Pallavi, and thank you for coming in today on a Friday.
Thank you. I'm sorry we had a patchy connection here, but that's what happens when you try and patch in remotely. So I'll be here in the studio next time, and I'll be able to take questions on Wednesday with your business matters, and I look forward, Meetu. Thank you.
Our pleasure entirely. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, Pallavi.
Bye-bye.